said, I know it's haram money, but let me just make enough so I can pay off the house, then I'll open the halal meat shop. Then it's all halal after that. Well, let me just pay off the house first. Let me just save enough for the kids' college tuition first. Let me just save enough so I have some little bits left over. Then you see I will go all halal. I'm going to go organic halal after that. But right now, let me just do what I'm doing. This tarabastum, you kept putting it off. You kept saying inshallah, inshallah, inshallah. You got to jump ship. You're not making money. You're feeding, your mouth is not eating. That's not halal chicken you're eating. When you earn haram money and go to the rehab store, that's not halal chicken you're eating. It doesn't make it, the money has to be halal and the food has to be halal. You understand? And you're feeding yourself and your family fire. Don't feed them fire. Save yourself. This is a serious matter. You keep putting it off. And when you put off like that, then shaitan gets you, man. Shaitan fills you with aspirations. Allah says, aspirations, false hopes, they deluded you. You were like, man, I'm going to move to that neighborhood, then I'm going to get that car, then I'm going to do that. You're looking at magazines, then you're checking out real estate websites, and you're looking at aspiration after aspiration after aspiration. And then you say to yourself, man, Allah has taken care of me so much in dunya. Oh my God, Jannah is going to be awesome. And after I write that fat check at the masjid fundraiser with my haram money, how can I not be guaranteed Jannah? I'll keep the receipt with me just in case the angel lost it somewhere. Look, I kept the receipt. You started creating your own polluted version of what will happen to you, of what success is, of what salvation is. You started feeding yourself lies. Until the decision of Allah came, until death came. And all the things you used to tell yourself, and the arguments you used to have at Eid parties, and the justifications you used to make for your misbehavior, all of that will disappear. And the one who is so awesome at deceiving, he got you. What is Allah saying? Shaitan got you. Then, on that day, there is no ransom acceptable to you, from you. No ransom will be taken from you that day. And by the way, you will try to offer fidyah, and kuffar will try to. Even from those who disbelieve, no ransom will be taken. What does that mean? That these people, Muslims, in this world Muslims, in the akhirah, unfortunately munafiq, are being put in the same category as who? Kafir. I will not take anything from you, and I won't take anything from the kuffar. You put them in the same ayah. He says, Ya ayyuhan nabi jahil al-kuffara wal munafiqina waghluz alayhim. Struggle against kuffar and the munafiqin, you put them together. SubhanAllah. Both of them together like that. You know? About the mushrikun. About the mushrikun. Allah will not forgive the shirk we done with him. Allah will not forgive unless He might forgive. He might forgive other things, possibly. Not guaranteed, possibly. But He will not forgive what? Shirk. Then He talks about the munafiq. And He says about the munafiq, Sawa'un alayhim, astaghfirullah, am lam tastaghfirullah, in tastaghfir lahum 70 marratan, lan yaghfir Allah lahum. Doesn't matter if you ask forgiveness for them, Ya Rasul. You ask for them 70 times, I will not forgive. Munafiq, I'm not forgiving. Because munafiq is a kind of mission. Munafiq is a kind of mission. Hidden shirk. It's hidden shirk. That's what that is. That's why it's not forgiven. You might think, Allah said you forgive anything other than shirk. So munafiq should be forgiven. No, actually munafiq is hiding his shirk. His expectations are from other than Allah. That's shirk in tawakkul. His hopes are with other than Allah. That's shirk in amani. You know, his obedience is to other than Allah, it's to his own self. His shirk in ibadah. That's no shirk. So he says now in these ayat, this is the ayat actually wanted to share with you. The place you will go back to is fire. It is the one that will take care of you now. It is the one that will hug you now, protect you now. What a horrible place to be. This is the ayat, 16th ayat, that I wanted to talk to you about today. I know my time is up, but I'm going to take 10 minutes.
It's 10:30.
So it's 10:30?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. Alam ya'ni. Hasn't the time come already? Alam ya'ni. They say in Arabic, alam yahin. Isn't it time? Wasn't it time? They say, alam ya'ni, isn't it time right now? Ana ya'ni actually. Ana ya'ni, an. So you know we say in Surah Al-Rahman, وَبَيْنَهَا وَبَيْنَ حَمِيمٍ an. An yani water that boils right then and there. Right then, an. That's why we say the Arabic word for right now is what? An. Ya'ni means, isn't the time right now? Didn't the time come right now? Alam ya'ni. And you know, Allah did not say ala ya'ni. He said alam ya'ni. I know this is hard for Arabic students because you just got over Arabic and you're trying to forget. But let me tell you, lam, like this tough. In lam, lamma, one family, those are huruf I gave you, yes? Lam means, if you remember, I'll be very happy. What does lam mean? Did not does not isn't. Translation says, isn't it time right now? He says, wasn't it time right now? Meaning the right now already passed. Oh my God, you're already late. You're already late. If you say, isn't it time right now? You're not late yet. But if you say, alam ya'ni, wasn't it already time right now? You're like, oh, it's over? I'm already late? I gotta get to it. I gotta get to it immediately. لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, for those who have iman, and تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, that their hearts should feel an overwhelming sense of awe. Their hearts should be filled with the grandeur of Allah. Because they want to remember Allah. Li dhikrillah, as opposed to bi dhikrillah. There's so much going on inside. Time's already up, guys. It's already time right now. Isn't it time already? Hasn't time already passed? That the hearts of those who claim iman, claim faith, their hearts should be full of just amazement, awe. It's not fear, for sure. Sure has khashiyah in it, but other things in it also. Humility, a sense of being overpowered. They're just like in awe of Allah's power. And that power wants to drive you to remember Allah. Read to hear that, some grammarians also say. By the remembrance of Allah, some translations say. That their hearts should be filled with remembrance, or their hearts should be filled with awe by the remembrance of Allah. Due to the remembrance of Allah. But it also means their hearts should be filled up with awe that they haven't remembered Allah. Man, I'm so afraid that I didn't remember Allah as I should have. You know? I missed out. And I need to remember Him now. I can't let go of Him now. This is what's called in Arabic ataf bayan. Ataf bayan means, in English they say I.e. You know what I.e. is? I met your brother, I.e. Kareem, or something. Okay? I saw a nice car, I.e. a Hyundai. No, it's not a Hyundai. But you know, you get the point. I.e. clarifies. Allah says, isn't it time that believers were filled with awe by remembering Allah, bidhikrillah? I.e. Allah. That is to say, ma nazala min al-haq, what came down from the truth. Quran. In other words, shouldn't the believers their hearts should just flood with tears because of what? Quran. And for longing for what? Their hearts should be filled with an overwhelming sense of being overwhelming sense of emotion that they haven't connected with the Quran yet. وَمَا نَزَلَ مِنَ. Then the words وَمَا نَزَلَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ scare me. So Allah could have just said, wait Quran. He could have said, isn't it time that your hearts are filled with fear due to the remembrance of Allah or longing for the remembrance of Allah? That is to say the Quran. He said that is to say what came down from the truth. The word ma in Arabic alludes to ambiguity. Yufidul ibham. Ambiguity. If I say, the guy who came, or something that was read, what am I trying to say? I don't know the name of the book. I don't know the name of the book. Allah is complaining in the ayah that those who should have remembered Allah, He's talking about the Quran as though they don't even know what it is. What came from the truth? You know that thing that came from true revelation? Isn't it time that you paid attention to it? The ayah is already saying you're not paying attention to the Quran. Why don't you know what it is? Why don't you make any time for it? وَمَا نَزَلَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ. And then he uses al-haq. Haq is translated as truth, but haq also includes the meanings of al-istihqaq, to deserve something. What came down that is worthy of time and attention, that has rights over you. What came down isn't just a casual read. What came down is, it's going to come after you. You owe it. You owe it. Every opportunity a believer gets to get closer to the Quran, if they understand these ayat, he will take. She will take. It will be a different relationship with the Quran. Allah says, isn't it time yet that you took Quran seriously? أَلَمْ يَأْنِ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَمَا نَزَلَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ وَلَا يَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ. And isn't it time that they stop being like those who were given the book before them? That's one translation. If you say that this is out of on ya'ni, you know, alam ya'ni an yakunu, like that. وَلَا يَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِن قَبْلِ. Isn't it time that you stop acting like the failed nations of the past, who had shallow relationships with their book? They recited those books ritualistically, and they had no real relationship with their book. Isn't it time that you stop and you acted like the Ummah you're really supposed to be? Isn't it time yet? And the other meaning of that is that they should not be. They should not be like those who were given the book before them. فَطَالَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْأَمَدُ. And a long period passed over those people. فَقَسَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. And their hearts became hard. Wallahi, the hearts becoming hard. You know, hard, qasa in Arabic, in the Quran, is not used for anything but hearts. Is not used for anything but hearts. The only time it's used for other than hearts is when it's used for rocks. And even then when rocks are compared to hearts. Only that time. Otherwise it's not used. Allah describes the heart as becoming hard. Becoming hard. Why? Because Allah says that the people became like the people of the book. What does that mean? They read the book. They recite the book. But they have no clue what's in it. They have no clue what's in it. They don't come to it to soften their heart. They don't come to it to talk to Allah. They don't have with it what they should have. لا ينتفعون منهما من شيء. The Rasul says sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These people who don't benefit nothing from it. They have the law and in their hands. They don't benefit from it. The Muslim will become like this. The Muslim will come to the Imam and say, Imam Sahib, I have a fever. Which surah should I recite? Imam Sahib, I have, my daughter's getting married. Which surah should we play the recitation of after the DJ is done? Which surah should we recite? Then they'll come and they'll say, hey, listen, what dua should I make from the Quran if I'm looking for a job? This is all Quran is for you. This is all it is for you. You're looking for barakah in this thing or that thing or the other thing because Quran came to give barakah to your parties, to your ceremonies. That's why Quran came, so it can bless your ceremonies. The Quran did not come to change you. The Quran did not come to give you advice, to change you, to make you a different person, to earn your money differently. It didn't come for that. It just came so you hire some guy at your wedding, and he comes and recites Quran and women put napkins on their heads. That's why Quran came. That's what Quran is to you. Or Quran came so you can have decorated large ayat in your home, big giant Surah Al-Asr inside your house next to the big screen TV. That's why it came. Quran came so you can hang in the rear view mirror. Ayatul Kursi, because you don't have dual side airbags. That's why it came. What have we done with this Quran? What have we turned it into? This is a serious matter, folks. We're wrapping this book up and we're printing it in silk and we're having art exhibits with it. Allah gave us this mess, people spilled blood to change their lives according to His book. And now it's become a book that is just ceremonial. It breaks your heart. It breaks your heart. We celebrate. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not talking about your community. Do not say I was talking about your community. Listen to what I'm saying. We celebrate children memorizing the Quran. We celebrate it. And yet we don't cry when those children become adults and they still don't know what they're reciting. They still don't know what they're reciting. But we celebrate it every year. And when those kids are leading Taraweeh, the guy leading the prayer doesn't know what he's reciting. What do you expect from the congregation? The guy leading the prayer doesn't know. There's something wrong with that. That's not normal. That is not how things are supposed to be. We've done this. We've done this. And our kids, we've given them an artificial relationship with the Quran. These kids, they memorize Quran and the biggest goal in their life is, man, I'm going to lead Taraweeh this year. Listen, Quran is not a trophy. Quran is not you get a prize when you recite it. It's not. I met a couple of kids that have memorized Quran. And they're looking for places to lead Taraweeh. You know, Ramadan is coming. And they're like, hey, what did they pay? What is this one thing? What is that one? What did you get for a prize in that question? They're already talking about what they're going to get when they lead the prayer. Now you're talking about getting paid to lead prayer. This stuff should bother us. This is what we've done with Quran. We've done this. Nobody else came and did this to us. Don't blame the government. Don't blame the corrupt, this or that. We've done this with Allah's book. You don't think Allah will ask us about that? Well, how are we supposed to take this book? What is it supposed to mean to us? This book came to change my life. This book came to change your life. We have to remind ourselves of that. We have to remind our kids of that. You know, the Quran back in the day, it used to be called Hamil of Quran, carrier of Quran, because it was understood they carry a huge responsibility. That was understood. You know? And I'm not just picking on the kids that are memorizing Quran. It's not their fault. It's our fault that we don't teach them more. But we better. We better. It's our fault we don't teach our community. It's our fault. I want to leave you with this. When I was in college, and I started learning Arabic, and then I started reading Quran, and I heard Dars of Quran for the first time, I was very angry. I was angry. I was angry at the Ummah. How did they rob me? And I'm, 18 years of age, born a Muslim. How did I never know what the Quran is? How come they never told me? How come they just expected I would just figure it out myself? How come they didn't tell me this book is the most important treasure I will ever have in my life? How come they never told me that 23 years of the most difficult struggle in human history, the struggle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the culmination of it was فَلْيُبَلِّغِ الشَّاهِدَ الْغَائِبِ بَلِّغْ عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً. Give on my behalf, even if you can give an ayah. Just give. Give an ayah on my behalf. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam just wanted the world to know this book. And my own ummah didn't care to give it to me. My own people. We left it. We can't live like this. We can't go on like this. We'll pay the price. Recently I found out 1.5 million Ottomans, Uthmanis, came to Ellis Island. 1.5 million immigrants have come to Ellis Island. 10,000 or less of their descendants are Muslim today. 1.5 million. Quran, guys. Quran. This book is either going to testify for you and me on Judgment Day, or it will testify for you. Those of you that were in the class, I want to leave you with a reality check. I try to make it my job to make Arabic more enjoyable to learn, to make Quran easy to understand. I try to make that my job. But you know what? I can only do so much. This has to be a responsibility Ummah carries. Every family carries. We gotta know our book, guys. Whatever Quran you memorize, at least study that tafseer. At least request the Imam to do tafseer of those surahs that you've already memorized. If you've already memorized the surahs from Juz Amma, just take advantage of our podcast. Free downloads. The only thing it will cost you is your time. At least learn what Allah is saying in those surahs. So when you are standing in salat, you're talking to Allah. Talk to Allah. It changes you. It puts light in your day. It puts light in your life. Our kids need this. We need this. Don't just worry about your children's education. It's not like Allah will ask, how did you put them in Islamic school or not? It's not like we are doing justice to this book ourselves. We're not. We're really not. I pray, honestly, I didn't want to leave you on the downer. I didn't. But it just pains my heart. It really does. It really pains my heart. Ramadan is around the corner, guys. The month of Quran is around the corner. The month that became sacred because the Quran came in. What makes Ramadan special is not the fasting, is not the pakodi and simple state. It's not what makes Ramadan special. Quran came in. Quran came in. Hudan lillah. It's a guidance to all humanity. Quran is the month in which this book should be shared with all humanity. There's such beautiful description of the Quran for the month of Ramadan itself. The first thing Allah told us about Ramadan was not fasting. He said, Shahr Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran. He didn't say Shahr Ramadan alladhi tasumuna fihi. Month of Ramadan, you're going to fast in it. No. Month of Ramadan, Quran came in it. Quran came in it. Get ready for Ramadan, guys. Make this the Ramadan, you change your life. You become people of Quran. I'm going to leave you with a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and I'm going to conclude. Rasulullah ﷺ says, such a beautiful hadith. You ever heard the phrase, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu? Right? He says in this hadith, Ya ahlal Quran. People of Quran. He called me and he called you people of Quran. La tatawassalu Quran. Don't become lackadaisical with the Quran. Don't be lazy about the Quran. Don't turn the Quran into a pillow. Like tawassul and wasada in Arabic means pillow. The tawassul, don't turn the Quran into a pillow. Meaning don't sleep on it. Don't get lazy with it. Don't relax with it. Don't say, Alhamdulillah, we belong to the Ummah that was given the final revelation. Oh, thank God we're saved. No, that is tawassul with the Quran. Don't assume you're saved because you're people of Quran. La tatawassul bil Quran. وَاتْلُوهُ حَقَّ تِلَاوَتِهِ مِنْ آنَاءِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ. In any hour of the night and day, read it like it deserves to be read. Follow it like it deserves to be followed. Find every chance, every nook and cranny in your day that you can fill with Quran, fill it. If you're sitting there idly in a doctor's office, recite Quran. If you're driving, whatever surahs you know, recite, listen, recite, listen. Become people of Quran. Ahl al-Quran. وَاتْلُوهُ حَقَّ تِلَاوَتِهِ مِنْ آنَاءِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ وَافْشُوهُ. And spread it. Spread it. When you love something, people will say, hey, what is that? Can I have some of that? Then you will spread it. Your love is contagious. I'm telling you, love is contagious. And beautify your voices with Quran. When you start tasting the recitation of Quran, no music will take its place. You will not need to have a fatwa on whether music is halal or haram. Music will just become irrelevant to you. Because the Quran, the divine melody, divine music, revealed music, Quran, that will just flow in your heart and you will just never want to just whistle a tune again. Let's just take over. You know? You recite Quran with melody. And think deeply about Quran. Dive into the meaning of Quran. Pull out the pearls and treasures in the Quran. So you can become people of success. What are the words of Rasulullah? Call us people of Quran. I pray that we're able to live up to that advice. And I pray that Allah makes us witnesses, makes the Quran a witness in our favor and not a witness against us. I pray that Allah helps our communities grow more and more in their iman through their sustained relationship and a constantly growing relationship with the Quran. I pray that our young generation, through that young generation come an entire army of young students and teachers of this book that will spread the love of this book and the understanding of this book for generations to come. I pray that Allah will bark in our Islamic schools, in our hip schools, in our Sunday schools, in our Saturday schools, in our youth programs, in our conferences, in our conventions, in our da'wah programs. Allah will bark in them that these programs become a means by which we get closer and closer to Him and are able to do some justice to the awesome responsibility that He's given us. I pray that our masajid become a place where people can truly get closer to Allah and closer to each other. I pray that Allah protects our masajid from fitna and infighting and jealousy and hatred and undercutting each other and dishonesty. Allah protect each other, us from anger and just having ill opinions of each other. I pray that Allah, for those of you that study here and those of you who did not study here, I pray that Allah makes the language of the Quran easy for you. And so that you can learn and remember Allah, not just understand the book of Allah, but remember Allah in your hearts when you recite the ayat. I pray that Allah makes us of the people, إِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا وَعَلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. That when the ayat are recited on them, their iman increases. And they learn to trust Allah. I pray that Allah unites us under the Quran, under the shade of the Quran. I pray that our differences that are meaningless truly become meaningless. That we're able to find unity among ourselves, across ethnicity and across culture, and even across schools of thought, that this book becomes enough of a reason for the people of La ilaha illallah to stand under one man. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات. السلام عليكم.